Hey everybody, Andy Davis and Neil Bantra back here again talking about the dawn of a new health CEO, our recent paper that we published. And it's fitting because we're here at the Consumer Electronics Show because the whole dawn of a new health CEO is about the empowered consumer really driving and navigating their care. And one of the elements here that we're going to talk about, the second installment, is about the increasing trust that consumers have with their data and the health data that they actually get. So Neil, we've seen so much data as we walked the floor.
Yep.
Tell me why consumers should be trusting this data more and have embraced it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, the last couple of years at CES, the conversation's been around more data. Can I track an insight that maybe I didn't realize about what's going on within me or in my blood or in my readings? You know, last show we saw something around, you know, can I interpret health status through back of the eye reviews, right? So everyone's probing the body to say, can I get insight in the body? What's interesting in this moment, at this time this year, is there's an assessment that maybe we have enough data. Can I action it? Can I turn it into insight? And I think what you're finding are consumers are getting very eager to translate the volume of data they're generating on their own into actionable insights that they can then dictate choices they make. Behavior change, food shifts, modulation on exercise, other tactics that they can address and live the health outcomes that they're seeking, right? Broader than sick care, the broader healthcare issues. So you're seeing a lot of momentum around the consumer saying, hey, I got a lot of tools in my tool belt now through this data, what can I do with it?
Well, I think the data in itself, you can agree or disagree with this, I think the data in itself has matured and gotten better. You look at 6 years ago for health data, I'm taking steps.
Yeah.
I got maybe a heartbeat. It's telling me some things about my activity. But what it's not giving me is some things somewhere between, like clinical grade data and what were we calling it earlier?
Clinical grade data, and then you've got sort of directional data.
Directional data,
Yeah.
right? And that's but even directional data is light years ahead of
Without a
where
doubt.
we were before. And do you think there's, what's the trade-off between directional data and clinical grade data, and why should consumers trust both?
I think what's interesting is consumers intuitively do trust both. I think what's happening here is clinicians don't trust the directional stuff, in part because they've been trained on medical grade data. The precision of the information is important for you to understand what's going on. But I think what's been missed, and this may be a training comment, or this may be a culture of care comment, I don't know. But directional data does give signal, it just doesn't give as robust a signal with as much confidence. But there's enormous information in knowing, hey, it's gonna rain more than 3 inches tomorrow versus it's gonna be bone dry. It's not precise, but boy, you know you're packing your umbrella or not. And that's an important point here, right? So consumers get that nuance. The medical system historically has not operated in that gray area, intentionally. And I think that's a little bit of the rub that's going on here. And we've got a great story coming off the panel that I did a couple days ago here at CES. And one of the stories that was shared is that one of the wearables out there has started adding a stress indicator. And what this individual was saying was, as they wear this wearable, what she realized was that the weekends at home are more stressful for her in terms of managing the lives of her children than her time at work. And so what she was saying was, now do I know it's how much more stressful? I probably don't know that. What I know is it is consistently more stressful when I'm home with my kids over the weekend. And that probably means I need to have a conversation around the role I play in the family, how much am I the disciplinarian, how much of the sort of scheduling complexity lies with her versus her partner, right? These sorts of things. And it was a really interesting data point that is not clinical grade, but is going to dictate an enormous set of conversations and change for her and her family that I think will lead to better mental health, better wellness, probably better outcome for the family as a whole.
Yeah, and I think that I could think about how my use of wearables, and we've talked about this before. There was a wearable that I had, and it talked about you tracked your sleep, you tracked your activity, and then you had journal entries. You'd take things like how often you have a drink, how often are you eating high protein foods, and what it started to do early on, it wasn't giving you a lot of trends or data, but it would start to tell you and give you an insight of every time you have one drink, here's how the impact is on your sleep. By the way, the minute you have 2 or 3. It has a profound impact on the amount of, for me personally, how much deep sleep I was actually getting, how much REM sleep I was getting, and now I'm activating on decisions. None of that's clinical grade.
None of that's clinical grade,
Some of that is me self-populating that, but it gave me a belief in something that I can own, activate, and not have to go to a doctor to see.
Non-precise data can still have enormous value from an insight perspective. That is a truism in the world, and I think the health system as a whole has been very late to sort of accept that dynamic.
So what you're hearing here, everybody, is that we have a massive increase of data on the market, but we also get to see how consumers are using it now in a different way than they have before. They have a trust and an ability to bring that with them everywhere, even if it means taking it with them to a physician. And so we're going to continue this dialogue next live here at CES, talking about the dawn of a new health CEO, which is really a consumer using that data. And we'll see you on the next chapter.